I bought a blend called Navy Flake. There it is right there. I hope you can read it. Yeah. I picked this blend because it was the lightest color that they had. It was on the light end. If you can watch my other videos where I talk about the other blends that I got with this one, and I kind of explained why I chose them the way I did. Basically, I picked this one because it was the lightest, and it had one of the least obvious smells to it. You know, it wasn't like really, it doesn't stand out a whole lot. And it was in flake form, which I thought was interesting. The guy at the shop said, you know, it's kind of an old school way of doing it. It's kind of a traditional way of packaging tobacco is the flake stuff. You have to break it apart yourself into little pieces. I'm trying to hurry here because I got a lot to say, and I'm probably not going to have enough time to say it all, but whatever. I want to get this one. I want to get to this one. The other two tobaccos that I got, I really liked. Well, I really liked one of them, and the other one was pretty darn good, and it quickly warmed up to get even better. It quickly became really, really nice. This stuff did not. I'll show you. Again, Navy Flake, right? And you can see, sort of, right? It's in flake form. You know, this thing has been my nemesis since I bought it. I'm 3 weeks in on this stuff. Man, there may as well be a scorpion in that jar, basically. This stuff is mean. It does not play nice. Again, I smoked the other two, and they were okay, you know. I've since smoked a couple of other blends, which I'll talk about. And they're, even if I don't like certain things about them, they're tolerable, they're okay. This stuff is a devil, man. This is not polite. This is not, very different experience with this. When I initially smoked it, I was trying to do like a careful packing method where you, basically the way I've been doing it with all the tobaccos is loose the bottom 2/3 of the bowl, and then the top third of the bowl, you know, kind of put a plug, kind of make it firmer. So the bottom 2/3 relatively loose, the top a little more firm, more of a tight pack. I think the idea is you light that tight pack, and then, you know, I picked this up from watching a couple of videos. I think the idea is you light that tight pack, and then it kind of becomes a coal that you then draw through the light pack slowly as you go down, and that's why you tamp it, is to keep compacting the coal or the ember. You keep compacting it so that it stays firm and together, so that it'll keep burning smoothly down through the bowl. That's the idea that I've been running with, and I've found different ways of packing it, some that I like. I'm learning you have to play around with how you pack the bowls. There are so many variables involved, and that affect the flavor, and one of them is obviously the way that you pack the tobacco. So I tried to pack the Navy Flake that way, the same way that I packed the other two. Like I said, one of them was pretty darn good right out of the gate. The other was okay, not bad. You know, I have had to play with it a little bit more to get more out of it, and I have. This guy right away, horrible, horrible. I don't know what's in this stuff. Absolutely. It burns very hot, and it wasn't like super dry. It was moist when I got it. It might still be. Let me check and see. It's relatively moist. You know what I mean? It hasn't lost much dryness or much moisture since I put it in here. It burned the crap out of my tongue. It lit up in flames very quickly. It got really hot really fast. Granted, I didn't know, you know, I knew even less then than I do now about how to smoke these things. But I didn't mess the other ones up that bad. You know what I mean? This stuff attacked me immediately. It flared up really hot, really fast. Lots of smoke. I could feel it. I could feel the heat coming out of the pipe and like licking my tongue. I have never had smoke burn my tongue before. It was like I drank coffee, like hot coffee, very quickly. And it wasn't, you know, usually when you burn your tongue, it's like the tip of your tongue, right? This was the back. Like if this is my tongue, it was, you know, if that's your tongue there, all of this burned for 3 days. Couldn't taste anything on the top of my tongue. I mean, it pissed me off. It made me mad. I almost threw the pipe. It made me that mad. It was sudden, hot, extremely unpleasant, very distasteful. I don't know why anybody would buy this. I don't know if I did something wrong. I don't know if the guys that blended it, is this a joke? I don't know. This stuff is awful. It is absolutely irredeemable. So the next day, I smoked some more of it. And I was careful. I was really careful. I went slow and easy. And pretty much the same effect all over again, minus the burning part, because I was being careful, okay? I'm learning with some of these tobaccos that you do have to be careful how you smoke it, because they can get so hot, it can burn the crap out of you, or not. Well, this one will burn the crap out of you. The other ones have a tendency to make me kind of cough. They're harsh, they're rough, and you can avoid that by teasing the smoke a little bit, by playing around with it. It reminds me of playing with fire, where, you know, it can hurt you really bad, but if you're careful when you reach in and when you reach out and how you dance around, it's kind of a dance, right? How you play around with it, you can get some good stuff without the bad. Not so with this. Not at all. This will attack you. This is bad. So like I said, that's a challenge, and more than the fact that it's a challenge, the reason that I wanted to keep messing with it was, I got to be doing something wrong here. Why would they sell something like this? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I can't be the only guy that paid money for this, right? And I don't know. These were all house blends. So I thought maybe Navy Flake is a type of a blend, not just, you know, I didn't know if it was a name they came up with or if this is like a brand name or something. So I looked it up and found out that it is, apparently it is a type of blend and or a brand name, but I can't tell the difference. It appears to be a certain kind of blend. And from what I read online, no one else is coming to the point of death when they smoke it, and some people actually pay money for it intentionally, knowing what they're doing. So I've got to be doing something wrong. So what I did is, I found some suggestions where about tobaccos in general, where there are different. Some people will dry tobacco out for a little while, and then try it. I've seen where they've said they've dried it out for as long as an hour to like weeks, maybe months. Long story short, I decided to try and play around with different elements and see what I can get going here. So the first thing I tried to do was smoke it again, more gently, carefully, very carefully. It did not burn my tongue as bad this time, but it still had nothing redeemable about, no redeemable qualities at all. It very harsh. It reminds me of the things that I don't like about cigars, which is that they often taste, just to me, raw tobacco is the best way I can put it. Very harsh, no subtlety, really strong. I grew up around tobacco, literally surrounded by tobacco fields and playing in a barn with tobacco hanging where they were drying it. And my parents would always tell us, the kids, like, get out of there, don't hang around in there. It would sting our eyes really badly. We'd play hide and seek amongst, like in the leaves that were hanging from the rafters, and it would sting really bad, right? And it could choke you up. I realized years later that was the pesticide, most likely. That's why they didn't want us playing out there. Well, there's a certain type of tobacco that you come across from time to time that reminds me of that harsh, raw tobacco, very offensive taste. The kind of thing that, as a kid, you think, why would anybody ever want to smoke this stuff, Cigars give me that effect a lot. It's just either a light version of it, or a dark version of it with a dark cigar, right? This stuff has the same thing. The light version, and by light I mean, I don't know how to describe this. I don't know how to. It is not light in harshness, but light in flavor. But it's not flavor, right? If ass was a flavor, maybe you could call it that. It's very similar to if you took rolling tobacco, like the most generic off-brand, not like Top or Bugler, but if you picked like the Rot Gut generic brand rolling tobacco for rolling your own cigarettes, and you let it sit out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then did this with it so that it was all basically crumbs and shake and dust, then rolled that into a cigarette and smoked it. That real harsh, dirty, crap, raw, harsh, dirty tobacco. That's what, to me, this tastes like. So, like I said, I smoked it again, and that was all I got from it. It didn't burn me this time, but I thought, this can't be right. This can't be right. This can't be right. People are paying for this. There are lots of blenders or brands out there, apparently, that make a navy flake. Now, obviously, flake is just the form that it's in. What is this navy? What's in this? What is this thing? I called the shop and said, can you guys, what's in that? And they wouldn't tell me. He acted, again, like it was some kind of secret recipe. Whatever, man. You keep this up, and the FDA or the EPA are going to be calling, wanting to know what's in this, because it's not friendly. So, we're going to smoke it again. What I've done is I took some out of, it was in a Ziploc bag for about a week, and I took some out and put it in this tin. Forget about no product placement. It's in a tin. Okay, it's in here. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I let it dry in there for about a day. and tried it. No bueno. Still no better. It's not burning me. I've learned how to keep it from burning me, but I got to be real careful. I then let it sit in this tin for a week and tried it. Still no dice. At that point, it had also the rest of it had been sitting in a Ziploc bag for a week. Tried what was in there. No good. Each of those times, I tried packing it different ways. I tried lighting it carefully. A tight pack, a very loose pack. Light it carefully, smoke it slowly, sip on it a little bit. You know, nothing was making this stuff even remotely palatable. And again, it's getting to the point, I mean, from the start, makes me mad smoking it. And again, it's aggravating because it's like, this has to be me. This has got to be me, right? And so I want to figure out operator error or something. I want to figure out what am I doing wrong here. So we're going to try something I haven't tried yet, which is I put some in a jar while it was still moist. This was, you know, this went straight out of the Ziploc bag 1 week after I purchased it. It had been in a Ziploc bag the whole time, and I put it into this jar, and that's been 2.5 weeks ago. So for 3.5 weeks since I purchased, 1 week spent in a Ziploc baggie, the rest spent in this jar. It still feels relatively moist. It's not crazy dry and brittle. I read online, I tried to find out what kind of tobacco is in a Navy Flake blend, and again, this smells like my childhood. The smell is like the tobacco straight out of the fields or the barn, minus the pesticide kind of thing. Nothing special, nothing beautiful. You know, you open that Balkan 2 jar and it's like, man, there's a whole new world inside of there. You could almost expect to see like the Little Mermaid in there singing, you know. You open this up and I expect a little bitty miniature version of me should be in there playing with my brother and sister. Because it's my childhood, is exactly what it smells like. I smell hay and like dead drying grass or straw, you know, which some people online are saying that Navy Flake should have that kind of a smell to it, that kind of a taste to it. I don't pick any of that up when I'm tasting it. So I've got two options. 2.5 weeks ago, I put this in a jar. It's been sitting in there that long. This stuff has been sealed up for almost a month. For the same length of time, this has been sitting here dry, no product placement, in a tin. I don't know which one to go with right now, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this Navy Flake. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. This video's probably gone on too long. Yeah, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to have another taste right now. I'm going to give it one more try. I haven't tried this, one try right now, I mean. I haven't tried this in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Is that right? What did I say? 1 and then 2.5. Yeah, about 2.5 weeks since I've tried it. We're going to try it again. I'm going to see what I can get out of it. This time, I'm hoping that the amount of time it spent in this jar has done something to it. I'm hoping that I can pack it a certain way. You know, I'm not saying that I need to fall in love with it. I'm just saying, let me get something other than hellfire from this when I smoke it. You know, it's just so dang weird why it should be that horrible. So I'm going to pack it. This time I'm going to pack it by doing something that I saw another YouTuber do. He folded the flake and kind of rolled it around a little bit, kind of wadded it up basically, and then just stuffed it in there, but lightly, right? Not like a crazy tight pack. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to take it out of the jar. We're going to pull it out of the jar, because honestly, I'm scared if I smoke it out of this tin. It's so dry. Really don't. I don't. Let's err on the side of caution here. And you know what? I'm not going to go, for the sake of limited time, and because this is the devil's weed, I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm not going to pack a full bowl. The draw is okay. I'm not getting any shake or little bits of crap coming out. So, this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've smoked this. Once again, here we go. Navy Flake. We're going to try it. Something's got to come out of this eventually. I got to get to the bottom of this. Carefully. I'm scared to really draw it, really pull it. It's harsh. There's a very light, there's a very light sweetness in there. Not like an aromatic sweetness, but like the tobacco itself is kind of sweet, but it comes with a harshness. I mean, out of what I'm smoking, I'm getting maybe a quarter of it is that nice sweet kind of thing, and everything else is just not good. It's harsh, especially up in the nose, man. What comes up through the nose makes me want to cough, makes me want to sneeze, like it's trying to burn my tongue again. I'm not going to let it. It's like it's daring you to actually smoke it. Heathen weed. Why would anyone want to smoke this? Well, heathen. It's so harsh. I mean, you better not breathe in the slightest bit of it. The slightest little bit chokes you. But it's so hard. Oh, I am getting some sweetness that I wasn't getting before. This is not something I could sit and smoke and enjoy. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be quieting and let you, help you sit still and relax. And I'm not getting that from this. I don't know how you could do that with this. It's getting dark. I gotta go. So Navy Flake. That here. I could have had that on this whole time. Harsh. Harsh and unpleasant. I'm done. So that's Navy Flake. I'm gonna keep looking into this one. I gotta get to the bottom of this. This is so. Anyways, that's the last of the first 3 blends. Last review, so to speak, of the first 3 blends that I have purchased. Yeah, I'm a novice for sure, because this is, I wouldn't have anything to do with that if I didn't have to. This is not nice.